recording and we're going to do a little meeting summary. I'm trying all the tricks. So my name is Jean Blackwell Font. I am the executive director for collaboARTive, and I am here in Miami, Florida. We're a nonprofit arts organization here, and we have 9 art studios, and we have 10 artists in those studios. We've been here for 8 years now, and we have started a program called Drawing on Discovery. And some of you may have joined that. Sebastian Restorko was working with us, leading us through his journey of discovery. We did all sorts of fun things, frottage and color theory, and I think we did some perspective drawing. We did a lot of interesting things. And today we are going to work with Sheherazade Thenard, who happens to be in London today. Sheherazade is one of our artists in residence. She has a studio here, and I'm going to read her bio because she's very impressive. Sheherazade was born in New York. Hey, Cheryl, New York.
Yeah.
She comes to Miami from Orlando. She is a figurative painter and illustrator. She graduated from the University of Central Florida with a BFA in Fine Arts and a painting BA in Visual Arts and Emerging Media Management and a minor in Art History. I don't think I remembered that. I have an art history degree. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Well, after graduating, she was awarded a year-long residency at the Maitland Art and History Center's Artist in Action program in Orlando. She completed her master's degree at the University of Central Florida, Master of Fine Arts. And now she works daily in her studio here in Miami when she is not in an artist residency program in London. She's over there now, and I will let Sheherazade talk more about what she's doing in London in this fabulous flat in London. And just so you know, okay, first of all, we are recording, so you are welcome to leave your camera on or you can turn it off, whatever your comfort level is. And Sheherazade will introduce herself, although I've done that. And she's going to do a PowerPoint presentation and then guide us through some contour drawing, which is, of course, the topic for today. Feel free to ask questions. You can use the little, the chat box if you'd like to make comments down there. You can use the reactions. You can raise your hand, or you can just turn on your microphone and say, "Excuse me, I have a question." However you want to engage. We're happy you're here, and I will be in the background managing the technology, and I'm going to be quiet now. Sheherazade, it is all yours. Oh, and I want to mention, it is 10 o'clock at night in London. So I'm really grateful for Sheherazade doing this. Thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. That was really sweet. It's nice meeting everybody. I see all of our little boxes, but yeah, I am here in London. I was invited by the Forest Project. I was aware of them about 2 years ago. One of my best friends, he did a residency here with them, and we were on the phone the entire time, and somehow that is now translated into me being here, which I'm so grateful for. So yeah, I'm here. This is my studio. It is essentially a 3-bedroom house with like room, board, and studio. So by the end of this, I'll be doing an open studio and inviting like London folk out. I am going to be meeting with collectors, gallerists, all the 9, So that's what I'm doing here. And I do a lot of this for work in my professional practice. I just graduated with my master's degree. I pretty much spend most of my time applying to things and the other half actually working on the work and putting it out places. So this is my life. This is what I am up to. But again, it is nice to have y'all here and invite you into this space. And I put together a PowerPoint for everyone, and I've not done that in a second, but I did used to teach also at UCF in Stetson. So this is not my first rodeo either, but let me start the PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've already done a little bit of the intro, so welcome. I'm going to be teaching Intro to Contour Lines. This is provided by the collaboARTive, which is the studio that Jean, and I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with, but this is where I have my studio in home base, Miami. And yeah, excited to be doing this series. Also, feel free to hop in and say anything that comes to mind. If you guys have any questions while I'm presenting, you can, as Jean said, let her know, there's like a little function that says raise hand in Zoom, and just, generally put questions in the chat box, or feel free, if I'm not like drill speaking, you can turn on your mic and say whatever you got. So about me, we've already introduced me, but here we go again. I'm just gonna paraphrase a little bit, but yeah, I have again done several artist residencies. Maitland was my first one, and I did that in 2018. I've since done the Atlantic Center for the Arts, Art House San Clemente, this one, the Forest Project, American Landmark, Maitland Art and History Center, and I do show nationally and internationally. So this is also a little whip of a big drawing that I've been doing. So I primarily end up teaching drawing courses, even though I'm a painter. So I wanted to start off with a couple quotes and a little bit of philosophy that I like to carry throughout my classes. So the first never-ending function of the art student is to observe and study nature. So this, I think, is so foundational to how every artist should be approaching their practice. It is rooted in our experiences and our reality. It's coming from in here, and then we kind of translate it into whatever iteration we end up making. But yeah, more points. As artists, we spend a lot of time attempting to simulate the real, or iterations of our reality. Therefore, it is essential we spend as much time in the real, absorbing information that we can. Always make contact with your subject. Memory, imagination, your senses of touch, taste, and smell are vital to an art practice. By this, it can mean so many different things. In the course that we're going to be doing today, I'm going to have everybody grab and set up a still life that you'll be working from in the reel. So if you haven't seen the material list for that, that's what I'm going for. I want everybody to have just one object, and I'll give you guys time. Something that you're familiar with, something that you're comfortable drawing, regardless of how complex or simple it is. I want you guys to be able to touch this thing, know how it feels when you're working on it. Is it smooth? Is it really rough? Is it like fuzzy? Whatever. It could be anything. The way that I teach my drawing classes is how to see first, and then to record from what you're seeing. So if you are just drawing and you have not much of a basis for what it is that you're drawing, a lot of times I see people kind of fall into the trap of like, I don't know how to do this, but really it is just seeing, recording. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong, and then you try it again. So we're going to be doing a lot of trial and error. Okay, so photographs play an important role of how we record our world, but it is essential for artists desiring knowledge in applied arts, drawing, painting, sculpture, or textiles, to learn that while photography is a tool, it does flatten reality. I know many people have learned how to draw from textbooks or from like pulling up images on your phone. That's a huge one. And then just trying to replicate it, or printing something out and trying to replicate it. But there is a flattening of that subject. There is like a lightening of that experience, and that deals with talent, it deals with skill, it deals with how we are able to render, but it's also like how that thing comes out, but it can be flattening. Does anybody have any questions from here? Simple, we're all on the same page. I always forget that Zoom is difficult because once you're presenting, I can't see anybody. So I feel like I'm speaking into the void.
We're here, no questions.
All right, yeah. I'm like, oh, am I saying too much here? All right.
I guess we got flattened.
No, exactly. Flattening of the classroom even. So yeah, I have plenty of slides though. All right. Another huge thing that I'm constantly repeating whenever I'm teaching courses is the sooner you make your first 5,000 mistakes, the sooner you'll be able to correct them. Yep. Every student that I've ever had in a drawing class has heard this 8 million times. It's really important to how I go about contour line drawings because it is so foundational to so many different practices. Like I know personally that if you know how to draw, you can really translate that into whatever it is that you're interested in, whether it's encaustics, sculpture, painting, anything. Drawing, because it gives you an idea of scale. I know some of you guys may have taken the perspective class with Sebastian. It gives you an idea of how things situate themselves in space. You're probably going to get that wrong the first several times. There's no way to do that perfectly correct the first time you do it. So you do have to practice. And just like I say, my art practice, it is literally that. It is me constantly making decisions about how I want to replicate an idea. And it's also me messing up several things. Maybe I'm not showing all of those, but it's a process. It's a thing that I'm continually practicing to develop. And I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life in whatever iteration it takes. So. Okay, so I wanted to include a sample of also how I teach as well. So I only have this one image for how I set up my still lives, but a lot of times when I'm working, I will set up really mundane objects. I usually start with skeletons because they have so many contour lines built into them, and they are very literally foundational material. That's how we are standing, you know. This one, it was boxes, it was paper, it was tape. I was creating textures, I was searching, I was building. And this is maybe like the 3rd week into my class out of, I think, a 16-week course. And yeah, just wanted to give you guys a sense of how I am seeing and how I would record it. Okay, so the role of contour in art. A contour line is a line that follows the outline of a subject, emphasizing its shape and form. In art, contour lines are often used as the foundation for a drawing or painting, providing the structure and details necessary to create a realistic representation of the subject. Contour lines are okay, I rewrote the sentence. Contour lines are the defining edges of a subject, emphasizing the shape's boundaries and significant internal lines. So another way that I like to look at objects is not only their outer lines, but also the shapes that build that object. So a lot of times when you're looking at, say, I don't know if you guys can see me. Can you guys see my image or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What do I even have that I can show as an example? There's not much in here. So like, say I have something like this, where it's just a shape. it's just whatever. Like I can follow the outer contour of this. Oh, you can't see it well, also because my light is behind me. But how the shoe would have been created, and especially how they're following some of the internal contour lines, like say the tip of the shoe, is they're following the light, the shadow. They're also pulling out parts of the shoe that are maybe more voluminous, maybe things that are coming towards you. How do you represent something that's going away? How does your line weight carry that distance? How does it carry space as well? So if you notice, like some of the areas in the back of this shoe, they're a little bit lighter in touch, like thinner line quality. The parts in the front are a little bit thicker. So yeah, when this person was developing this contour line drawing, they were not only thinking about what is receding in space, but they're also thinking about what is coming towards you. How do you carry that message as well? And a lot of times I can describe that with topography. What is the topography of an object? What is the topography of a map even? So I pulled this straight from just like any topographic map where you want to see how flat land can be followed in terms of contour lines. But when you see it from another direction, this is how that's translating. So it is still a line, it is still flat, but it can carry visual weight or visual meaning when you're working on it. Okay. Did everybody understand that before I move on?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, these are really truly like the core values of art. So I know that if you guys are an artist, you've probably heard elements of this. I'm just going to be providing some exercises that really everybody at every single stage should be doing. So this stuff might be stuff you've heard before, but it's still important. So the role of the line in art. The line is one of the more basic fundamentals of art. It's one of the 5 design basics as well. Line can be used to define shapes and figures, but also indicate motion, emotion, and other elements. A line serves to be the foundation of a more significant aesthetic expression and is integral to all drawings. Okay, so when I was really little, I ended up following this art course, and they brought up Van Gogh's sketchbook. And I had not seen his sketchbook. I'd only ever seen his paintings before. And these, I think, taught me everything. I just remember going outside and just capturing the shapes, repetitious line, how they were flowing, how I felt like I was moving along with the landscape. And I think in that moment, I realized the weight line can carry in any illustration, in every painting. It's just, yeah, it's a line. It kind of puts together the whole image. It carries everything that this is sharing. I'm repeating myself. Okay, so why I put this here and have the bullet points. These are just things that I saw, things that I recorded just by looking at this pretty quickly. I saw curved lines, undulating lines, loose lines, stippling, line weight, implied space and volume, stacking, fluid yet distinct space, contrast, form, texture, emotion, and energy. All right, so we're going to move on to what I'm going to be doing, this exercise that we're going to do tonight. So if you guys could take about 3 minutes and grab all of your supplies for this. So a sketch pad or roughly 5 sheets of blank paper, sharpened graphite or charcoal, a ruler, any hard edge will do. If you don't have a ruler, you can use the edge of a book. You can use another sheet of paper for that line. And still life, optional. We don't really need it, but you can have an eraser. Okay. And then a part of that time to grab your supplies is gather 1 or 2 small still life objects, such as statues, small bouquets, trinkets, mugs, etc. Think of bigger shapes. So it might be a little bit easier to draw something like this, but it's also kind of boring to draw for that same exact reason. So like I have like this jar with pencils. There's a little bit more interest in terms of how this is created. I don't have anything else around me. In my demo that I have a video embedded in this. I just have like a veggie bowl. So you can grab whatever, whether it's sentimental, whether it's functional, just set it up. And if you feel like you need more of a challenge, you can grab a more complex object, something with a lot more lines in it. But I think one of the best exercises, if you feel like you're ready for something more complex, is grab a mirror and draw your face, or you can draw your hands. You can draw like parts of your body. If you have a sitter room and they're just sitting and you want to draw them, go for it. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 5 to 4 minutes to get that set up. We probably don't even need that much time, but yeah.
I have the opposite problem of you, Sheherazade. I have way too many things.
Yep. Yeah, that was one thing I noticed about this house, because there's so many resident artists that come through. They keep it very sparse. Like it is the bare essentials and that is it. So it's kind of nice, very mentally clearing, but at the same time, I'm like, where are my little, where are the little like objects? Like I want to see a teacup in the corner or something, you know?
Yeah. So I got, yeah. Okay, I think I'm ready.
If everybody in the chat can, I can't go, actually, I can go to Zoom. If everybody in the chat could hit like some kind of button to let me know that you have all of your stuff before I move on. I think you can hit the like raise hand button. Cool, perfect. We can also chat at this time.
I just envision everybody here running around the house going, what am I gonna draw? What am I
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I'm like,
No, that's too hard. No, no, no. No.
They're like, oh, I want it to be challenging, but not too challenging. I'm not trying to do all that.
I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to be Sheherazade here. I just want to like, you know.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. It's funny that I'm doing this class right now and I'm not going to pick up my laptop or anything, but if you can see my background, I just have contour lines on canvas. So it's just demonstration that this is everything. So yeah.
I mean, it's really perfect that you wanted to do this as your first topic, because I mean, I know your work, and your work is, you know, there's so much figurative, and there's just there's so much figurative work, there's so much line work. If you all get a chance, I'll put the link to her website and you can see some of the work that Sheherazade does. It's just vibrant and colorful and meaningful work. It's really beautiful. So I'm happy to be able to do this today with them.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I also have a link at the end of the PowerPoint too. So
what do you think about it?
Whoever gets to it first.
And because we are recording this, I'll be able to put this up on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go back and look at it again if you have questions or things like that. So you can always go back and revisit this.
Okay. I'm gonna go for about another minute or so.
Of all things to this place. Let us see. The mad scurry after the class to find my ruler. Where did I leave that?
No,
It's supposed to
exactly.
be right here.
You can really use anything.
Yeah.
I don't be like a heavy materialist at all. Like, just truly, if you have a pencil and a paper, you can draw.
I'm ahead of you on that part, but where did I leave that? I know after class I'll be tearing everything apart until I find it. I mean, I can use an architectural scale, but
You
that's
can.
oh yeah, it's definitely a ruler.
Yeah, we're just using it to make a grid, just
Yeah.
a really simple
Oh,
grid.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's all good. You don't need, yeah.
Actually have a grid behind me. So,
Mhm.
worked on a grid before, so.
Love that. All right, so I'm going to, is everybody back? No, yes. Da-da-da.
What does it mean when the camera's in red? Oh, it's gone. Yeah, on the right hand side. Oh, video.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see it.
People
Yeah.
have their lights and camera off, which is totally fine. But yeah, it's like hard to gauge a
Well,
bit.
Okay, just go ahead. We can probably start.
Okay, just keep going. All right, so here's for the blind contour. Okay, so I just put together, I did this a little bit earlier today, just a quick demo of doing a blind contour. So the purpose of a blind contour, which we are going to be doing right after this, is to look at just your subject, to get familiar with just your subject. Do not look at your paper at all. And I want you to just draw very slowly. Actually, I have some notes. Let me pull them up. Okay. So I wrote, find a model or object which you intend to draw. Look at what you intend to draw and don't take your eyes off of it. Draw with your pencil on paper as if you're touching the object, carving it, finding the lines of it. Move both eyes from fixed point or line slowly while you draw as if you don't want to miss a single detail. Be guided more by your sense of touch than your sense of sight. Allow your lines to sprawl. Trust your eyes. Remember, not all contour lines are exterior. This is not a race, and there's no point to finishing a contour drawing. Attempt to capture everything, but it's okay if you only draw half of it in the time. So I just want to really illustrate that this, you do not need to be racing through this. I will set a timer, but the timer is really just to kind of keep in mind that we've got a pace. So yeah, I'm just gonna play the video. This is me doing that exact thing. It is sped up just for time's sake. So this was, it was also a 5-minute drawing, but I shortened it to 1. So. It also won't let me for reason. But yeah, just showing the material. I really didn't So again, remember that this is so I'm just Why is it doing this? Also, none of those suggestions are mine. I saw that earlier and I was like, I don't need them thinking that I'm watching whatever that was. Okay, so I was just saying that in that video, it was just a short demo. Usually I do demos alongside, but again, I have limited material and for whatever reason, my tripod decided to break today. So I had to take that holding the phone here. So it was a true blind contour. I really couldn't see it. So that's the only video demonstration. Everything else follows the same rules. I'm just going to give you guys little limiters here and there. So, all right.
May I ask you a question, please?
Absolutely.
What was the function of your left hand as you're drawing with your right hand? I saw you placed it on the sketch. Was it anchoring where you were?
Yeah, this was just anchoring. This is me just holding the paper. It was windy too. You can kind of see the tree in the background like blowing. I had to tape the sketchbook down.
Okay, so it had no function as far as you placing yourself on the paper.
It might in terms of I like to. I use my body when I draw, so I'm constant. It's like very active. Even when I paint, like I'm usually moving around a lot. I'm like holding the painting in different ways. Sometimes I put things down just so they stay stable, even though so sometimes it's just a little stem, just to hold the paper. And also it's just ink. So yeah, that's all it is. Nothing specific. Yeah, but my hands. Did that help?
Couldn't hear you again.
Oh my
Yeah, the music is, yeah, that's better.
Okay, I keep forgetting about that. So it's not loud for me. Okay, so I was just saying that when I work or I'm making any art, it's very physical for me. Like I usually stand when I work. When I'm sitting, like I'm holding things just so they're not moving. So yeah, if I had a video of me painting, which I do, you can see like how active I am. It's constantly shifting. So my hand doesn't really have a specific purpose. It's just, you know, like I'm not really even thinking about it. It's just there holding it down. I didn't even realize I didn't move it for 5 minutes. So, yeah, it's just there. But I mean, everybody has very different drawing styles. A lot of people even hold their pencils differently. I like to hold my pencil like this when I'm working. So so I like to hold, ooh, where's my camera? So if you see it, how my pointer finger and my thumb are holding it, and then I situate the pencil in the nook. So like that. And then I use my middle finger to hold it. Sorry, this is so confusing because it's backwards. I use my middle finger to hold the pencil as well. So when I'm writing, it ends up looking like this. And this is also how I draw. So middle finger supporting, pointer finger holding the pencil, thumb also supporting. And then I draw like this. And then I'm constantly I'm just aware of how my hand is placed on the paper. So if you guys are working with charcoal today, be wary of spreading and smudging. Also with graphite, just a little bit, depending on the size of pencil you're using. But yeah, like I generally hold everything like this and I keep these off the paper or the surface. So they're just here. I also keep my wrists off of the surface.
Maybe I need to do something here, but I can barely see your hand.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I enlarge you somehow?
I think you can.
There you are. You were there for a second.
I'm like, where did I go? Okay.
Okay, let's see if I can get to full screen here.
Okay, it's not letting me do that. But yeah, you can click on my icon and it should go up a little bit bigger so that way you can see it.
Trying
But
to figure it out.
yeah, I tend to hold my pencil like this. Pointer finger doing all of the work, truly, like there's pressure behind this. My thumb is also a bit in pressure, but mostly supporting. And then my middle finger is keeping it kind of angled. So you see how the pencil's trapped between these three fingers?
Sort of.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'm still trying to enlarge you.
Can you
Full
click
screen?
on that?
Full
Yeah.
screen, let's try that. No, nothing. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, the problems of Zoom.
Check. Just check. Okay.
This is Barbara. If you kind of slide the image of Scheherazade over, then
Uh-huh.
you get bigger. And your where it said sharing your screen, that gets smaller.
Well,
So now
let's
I can
see.
see you
Okay,
nice and large.
not working for me, but okay. Carry on. Same thing. I don't want to hold it up. I was just trying to see her hand. Yeah, you
Can I
should be like full
see
screen.
you? I can see you if you want to show me how you're holding your pencil.
Well, I will, but be advised, I only have half of the thumb, so
That's okay.
well, you're not looking for that. Just so you're not looking for the other half.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
I'm just sometimes wary when people draw like this because there's a surprising amount of people that do this where they're just hand like it. Yeah, it's scary. So I try to
Savage.
keep people away. This allows for sensitivity. It allows for more fluid movement. Right. Okay, so let's hop back to the exercise. So there's actually nothing that's happening in the PowerPoint right now. My little demo was the video. So I'm going to set a timer, and that timer's for 5 minutes. I want you guys to draw your still life for those 5 minutes. Use any sheet of paper. It could be your sketchbook, could be those sheets of paper that I mentioned earlier. I did mine in my sketchbook. I can pull up the image though, because I do have that. Okay. So these are what mine look like. Ooh. These are what mine look like. So below is a blind contour, and on top is a semi-blind contour. So you can see how it's just a little bit more clear, but they're both 5 minutes. They're both very simple. And yeah, I'd like you guys to start working on the blind contour. So blind contour, once again, don't look at your paper. Don't resist the urge as much as you can. Don't look at what you're drawing. Don't look at where your pencil's placed. Also, it's a good idea to let it be a continuous line. So don't lift your pencil either. Just keep it on the paper and keep pulling lines. Keep looking at your subject and follow it. Okay.
Okay.
Pulled up my calculator and not my timer. I'm like, where is it actually? Okay, so I am ready. So I set the 5 minutes.
Stay on the object.
So again, imagine that you're carving out the subject that you're seeing on paper with a continuous line contour drawing. If you see a line that is speaking to you, follow it. So it doesn't all have to be exterior contour lines. You can go inside the subject, you can go back outside and follow the outer line. Remember to trust your eyes and allow the lines to sprawl. They don't need to be perfect and you don't need to control them. All right, we're at about the halfway mark. Keep going, keep pulling the contour lines at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't let that alarm you though.
I like the other exercise where you draw with your non-dominant hand.
Really have that written in here.
Oh,
I
do you?
didn't put it in the class though, so if you'd like to do that, please do so.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in the semi-blind.
Sheherazade.
Mhm.
Genevieve is asking, what is the purpose of doing this blindly?
So blind contours, there's also 30 seconds or 20 seconds left. So blind contours are a lesson in sensitivity. It's learning to trust your eyes when you are working, because a lot of people don't actually do that. They spend a lot of their time looking at their drawing. 1 second. All right, okay. So we can stop with the blind contour. So blind contours are once again lessons on sensitivity. So you want to be able to trust what your eyes see and how your hand records. I think a lot of drawing is about hand and eye coordination. And I think a lot of times, especially like while we are living in an age where we have our cell phones, where we have printers, where we have like replicated media, we do spend a lot of our time like seeing and translating something that may or may not exist. Or exist in the real. So I find a lot of people spend a lot of time just like laboring over, how do I word that? Like laboring over things that are kind of false images. Like I mentioned flattening, like how photographs flatten a shape. Blind contours are kind of like trust falling. It's like trust falling that you know how to do this thing. I think it's a great exercise, even if, like, say, if I go to a museum and I want to draw, say, a sculpture that I saw in an art history book, or I want to go to a park and I want to draw a tree or a flower. Occasionally, I'll do a blind contour drawing where I'm just looking at the thing, kind of, it's almost like a devotional thing where you're looking at the object fully and you're just recording what you see. You get better and better at that. And then that translates into when you are looking at your paper, when you are looking at the subject, and it's just this like constant back and forth. There's different formats of this exercise in every art. So I think about like how musicians can utilize something like this, or photographers. there's so many different iterations of just like trusting your practice, and for drawing or just like physical hand work, this is, I think, one of the best.
I
Does
guess
anybody have something?
do you think it's hand-eye coordination, basically?
Yeah, it's just kind of calibrating, you know, like how you calibrate like a camera to see white balances, like you need to calibrate your hands and your eyes. So yeah, that's what a contour is.
And I want to say also, it's about not listening to the inner critic. You know, you look at it like, oh, it doesn't look like that. Oh, this is, you know, you're not allowing yourself to stop the work because you're not looking at what you're doing. You're just doing.
Yeah, and you can do hundreds of these. They don't need to be 5 minutes. They could be 2 minutes. They could be 1 minute. They could be 30 seconds. It's just an exercise, right? So actually we're going to follow along with this semi-blind contour. So the semi-blind contour is the exact same thing as the blind contour. It follows all the same principles, but you are allowed to look at your paint or your drawing. Look at me. Look at your drawing every, say, I like to give myself rules, and everybody could have different rules. So if I'm doing a semi-blind for this one, I told myself I could look at my paper 10 times. And that was just to see where things ended and began. And you could see where that worked, where it didn't work. I'm pointing at something you can't see, but it was just a fun exercise for me. So I want you guys to try that out with your subjects, and then I want to see them at the end. Or if you're comfortable sharing them, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna set my timer now. So semi-blind contour, go.
This one we look at the paper, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're allowed to look at your paper. Give yourself maybe like 3 or 4, anywhere from 5 to 10 looks.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
So don't just stare at the paper. Still look pretty exclusively at the subject. All right, 2 minutes left. Okay, 30 seconds, keep going. Here we go. Okay. I'm looking at time and I'm thinking, oh, okay. It's hopping forward. Just thinking we should do the gesture drawing before we reflect. So I'm thinking, let's start with this. So if you guys could find a new sheet of paper, or say you're running out, you can flip the paper to the other side. That's totally okay. And I want you to create 3 columns, 3 rows, ultimately 9 sections. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of time to do that. And this time when we're working on our gesture drawings of the still life that we're working on, I'm only going to give you 1-minute increments. So each time we're going to switch over to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It's going to be pretty fast paced. So yeah, is everybody ready to start with that?
You want us to draw the grid, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not ready.
That's all.
How many sections? 3. Okay.
So 3 rows and 3 columns. So essentially the grid that I have on the screen.
Okay. 2, 2, and 2.
Sounds like speed drawing.
So I was going to say, in the first 2, I had you guys working pretty slowly to capture all the edges, lines, and let things like sprawl. In this one, I want you to capture the entire thing as fast as you can. I want you to look for essential contour lines through whatever it is that you're working with. So it truly could be anything. I don't even know which things you guys have in front of you. So I want you to find movement in this. So if it's carrying through, carry through, and then you can create the other contour lines around it. So
How much time did you say?
just a single minute for each one. So we're gonna pretty quickly.
Okay, 1 grid
Mm-hmm.
for all the exercises that we're going to do right now.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So each square or rectangle is going to be a whole new drawing.
So you want an image in each one?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I thought we were using the entire grid for 1 image.
Oh,
so
no,
to speak.
no.
That's
Now I
another
get it.
class.
Yeah, then you've been like, okay, why do I have to start and stop? We'll do that next.
Why didn't I pick something easier is really the question. Lesson learned.
I mean, that's okay. So say I was to use this, and I have all of these sticky pencils coming out of it. If I were doing a gesture drawing, I would maybe follow the pencils a bit, like just kind of look for the highest point, the lowest point, the furthest left, and the furthest right. And I would capture that going doom, doom, doom.
Gotcha.
And then I start to fill out the rest, okay? So I'll repeat that again. So for each gesture drawing, I want you guys to find the highest point, the lowest point, the furthest point left, and the furthest point right. And I want you to go through that first and then start to carve out the rest of the contour.
In 1 minute.
These drawings are not going to look perfect. They're not
Right.
going, it's just to get your hand moving.
Right.
That's the gesture drawing. You want to be able to see the thing. If you want to get up and move around, if you have the ability to carry your drawing into different positions, or if you want to move your still life into different positions as you go, you absolutely can. There's going to be like a short intermission between each drawing. So it'll be a minute. I'll announce the minute. You'll have like,
We need music.
no, it's
We got
okay.
this.
Feeling the same thing. I was like, it's so quiet in here.
Like, oh.
Stand up looks different.
Yeah. If you guys want to listen to music in each of your, yeah, whatever, that's totally fine. All right. I'm going to start with my timer now. I've got my 1 minute ready to go. So does everybody understand what we're doing before I press go?
Not 100%.
Great, let's go.
So each frame is a minute.
Each frame is a minute.
Okay.
You got it. You got this. You got this, Joan.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Why didn't I pick something simpler?
That's okay. I think because
Just
it's
the outlines, just the
Yeah,
outlines.
yeah, we're gonna get the general shape. Got it. I would have made bigger blocks though.
Excellent. Oh, right.
all right, I actually thought of something new. So for the first three, we'll keep it in one direction. For the middle section, I want you guys to move your still life just a bit. And for the last one, I want you to move it again. So keep it in the same position for the first three in whatever direction. You can go laterally or you can go vertically. So I'll explain as we go. So I'm going to press go. So if everybody's ready, you have your pencil in hand, your grid in front of you. The minute is started. All right, so first one down, keep your still life in the same position and keep going. So I'm going to do another minute. Is everybody ready?
Ready?
Drop the last drawing. We're not going to return to it. I've decided to follow along.
Did you start yet?
Not yet. I'm deciding to do one as well. All right, so setting the next minute, go. All right, keep it going one more time for this position and start. You guys are ready to go on to the next drawing? I haven't pressed start yet. All right, now I have.
Ready, set, go.
Exactly. All right. Okay, so if you guys have your still life in front of you, can you go ahead and change it to another position? So it could just be turning it around a little bit. If you're standing and following and doing what I suggested earlier, that's totally fine. You can really truly do this how you want. But for everybody following along with this grid, I want you guys to go ahead and turn it around, move it in a different direction. I did a really quick still life along with y'all for this one. So it's still that jar of pencils, but this is really how just essential it is, just the points, just the shape, moving it around, and I'm just keeping going. So again,
that again, please. I really
Yeah.
couldn't see it. Would you pop it up there? Yeah, a little, because I'm definitely on the wrong track.
oh,
I
Oh.
thought, where's the camera? I thought that you wanted the whole thing in
the whole-
each box.
yeah, I just didn't make a box. I also have a box one. So I was following along in that way. I just don't have newsprint or like non-sketchbook paper right now.
Yeah, I got you. But
Yeah.
just so I'm understanding, because I think I'm on the wrong track, I drew the object every time in one square.
That's perfect. So
It
that's
is?
what I said here.
That's what we're supposed to do, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this was my second one because I wanted to show you guys what I was doing, but then I went with this one to actually show you. So I was just following along that way. Right? So if this were correct, it would be 1, 2, 3, right? Now we're gonna go ahead and do the other 6 in a different position. So move your still life around and just change it slightly so the contours are no longer the same, unless you have some kind of like circle or an egg. It should be a little different. And if it's a circle or an egg, find a way to change it. All right, so I'm going to set the next timer, go. So the timer is running, it's at 50 seconds. This is the 4th box. All right. Going to move on to the 5th one. Keep it going, keep the energy. If you need to shake out your hands, do so. I know this is a lot. All right, so I'm setting the next one. Gesture drawings are fun though. They're so simple, very low commitment, but high intensity, high energy. This is where a lot of people learn what their mark actually is. This is also where people start to translate emotion into their drawings. So I know, or I hope that many of you guys have seen at this point any kind of gesture drawing in a traditional academic sense of a figure, of say a still life, just a basic capturing of what it is that you're working on. And you can capture a lot of fluidity, movement, energy, even stillness. Gesture drawings are also extremely important to drawing foundation. So I'm just kind of running you guys through all of them. All right, so
We called them croquis.
croquis.
Yeah. Croquis. Well, that's kind of a pun on the word, but if you didn't get it done in 1 minute, you would croak. So
Exactly.
it became a croquis.
Mhm. Just hop on to the next one.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set the next timer. All right, last one for this row. Yeah, I'm going to remember this. There's definitely going to be music playing in the next iteration.
Put on
It's
some
so,
dancing music.
you know.
Give me some 60s Motown.
I'd be into it.
I would too. I'd be dancing.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah. That'll keep you moving.
All right. So there's 3 more left. I'm going to move the timer down into the seconds. So the last 3 I'm going to do at 30 seconds each. So really, really quick. I want you guys to move your hands as fast as you can through the still life. I want you to change it 1 more time. So kind of shift it around for the last section. And this last section, we're going to do 30 seconds each. Okay? So let's go. Pressing start now. Fifteen. And a second, a little bit longer than I
You're
thought.
gonna break out in song for me.
Right. Okay, so next one, another 30 seconds.
Okay.
And go. All right, that one is there. And now we're in our last section. Do you guys think I should do a minute or another 30 seconds? Do you guys want a little bit more time on this last one? Are we feeling sentimental?
30
I
seconds.
hate
I'm
this
good.
face.
All right, so last one, 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Gotta have some fun while you're doing this.
All right, so I set the timer and it is going now. And okay, I keep doing that way too soon. That one goes. Okay, we're done with this. Perfect. All right, so now that we've done our gesture drawings, I'm also just hyper aware of time. So we're running out of it. I wanted to give you guys a 10-minute time period to just sit with the still life and just do a 10-minute contour drawing of it. So it's 11:16 now. That will put us at 11:26. And I think that's a good time. It'll give us about 5-ish minutes. And I can stay on for like another 10-15 if we want to stay on for questions. But yeah. So final contour, we use our last portion of the class to develop one contour drawing. In this drawing, I want you to keep a slow and sensitive hand. This is your opportunity to lighten your touch. You will have from now to the last 10 minutes of class to develop this drawing. In my head, this was going faster, but it is not. Okay, so I'm going to set the 10-minute timer now. And it is set. So this is our last drawing. This is our longest one. So I want you to keep the speed from the gesture drawings in the beginning of your drawing. And then I want you to go back and finish it off in a semi-blind contour. Or if you're feeling like you want to spend a little more time, you can just kind of bounce between semi-blind, blind, however felt best to you in these exercises. So this one's fully up to you. And the timer is still running. We're at 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So.
Are we allowed to pick up our pencil in this one?
Yes, you can pick up your pencil.
Okay.
You can let this be a semi-blind.
Got it. Thanks.
And yeah, of course, remember speed. The speed of the gesture drawings is how I want you to start off this first contour drawing.
Okay.
All right, we are at the halfway mark. Keep your pencils moving. Let this last bit of the drawing be the strongest part because that is where this class will end, and then we'll just talk and reflect about what we enjoyed. So we are at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Think about line sensitivity. Say you have an area that's a little bit closer to you. Think about how line weight carries implied distance and space. Can you guys hear my neighbors in the audio?
Is that?
I think that's one of the funny things. It's kind of cute. There's people who are just out really late. There's the huge pub culture of London. So mhm. Yeah, people are always gathering, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds good.
Mhm.
Recently, my drawing class has worked with a local brewery. So we do what's called pints and poses.
Oh,
Yeah, and our girl models or guy models for us, and we also get a ticket for one drink. And they actually carry things that aren't heavy beers, so you can have that if you want. And we're there for about 2 hours, at least 2 to 3 hours. It's really fun. It's really, and of course it's good music and stuff like that. So,
oh, wow.
but you're connected with a local university.
Mhm.
But in the summer, that building is closed. So then this guy came up with this idea to involve the community. So if anybody wants to come in and draw, they can. So it's kind of neat.
And Joan, whereabouts are you located?
I'm in the southern part of New Jersey. I'm probably 20 miles west from Atlantic City.
Got it.
I'm in the Pine Barrens where the land is protected, so people
Oh,
can or cannot build. They have to meet certain requirements.
oh,
Like I'm on 5 acres and I'm not quite sure what my neighbor's on, but that's kind of area.
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love this place. Just
Yeah.
found it a year ago. So
There you go. We're in the last 30 seconds. Just want to announce that. But yeah, that's really wonderful. I love
yeah.
things like that.
And I'm a crazy gardener, so well, I put in 1,164 bulbs, and I set myself a deadline, which was New Year's Eve. So I was out there with the lantern, still putting them in, but I got them in. So lots of plants, a couple hundred irises right now, 200 some irises.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went off the track. off the rails. Having a blast.
There we go. All right, the timer is going off now.
Our timer.
Yep.
All right.
In all of these classes. All right, so this is where we're at now. So I would like if everybody or just the ones who would like to participate in this, share what felt good about this process, share what you learned, shared what maybe was even uncomfortable that you kind of were working through. Yeah, just I'm curious to hear. And if you guys have any questions, of course, please let me know. So I can stay on for as long as there are questions. That's fine. If you guys have to go, it was really beautiful sharing this time with you. So thank you.
And go ahead, Madeline. I see you have a question. Just unmute yourself.
Mine's not a question, mine's a comment. As I'm looking at the drawings, mine became progressively more like my subject. Because I was concentrating on what I was seeing and not what I thought I was seeing. And I'm so glad we didn't do an apple, because that's a terrible thing to do. Because everybody draws, but they think an apple should look like, and not necessarily the apple they see in front of them. So this was a very interesting exercise. Thank you so very much.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And the cat is driving me crazy. He wants to be fed. So I'm going to leave you all and tell you it was a pleasure being with you all.
That's so
You're
funny.
Thank
Be
you.
well.
Kitty fed. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that in that way.
Barbara has her hand up.
Right.
Well, something as simple as really looking at your subject. If I look at my first drawing, this vase, like, can you see this vase if I hold it up?
Let me see if, yeah, I can see you.
So the first time I drew it, I totally didn't pay attention that these kind of square-like shapes were in a line. So my first one, they're just haphazard circles coming down.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking back at the first one, I'm sorry, the sun's really coming in. And then seeing with the last one, I paid a lot more attention to what I was looking at. And I didn't realize what I wasn't seeing. So thank you for making me think about what I'm seeing.
No, I'm really glad for that. Again, that's one of the things that is, so again, I've taught this in college courses. One of my favorite things to do is watch when people really like come from a place of non-confidence about their drawing skills and then leave knowing how to see or replicate whatever it is in front of them. So this is just like a tiny dose of what I tend to do. But I think the way that I was taught and the way that I teach is really about observation. Like that's it. And then the other half of it is you just have to draw. Like that is the best way to learn how to draw. You just simply have to do it. There's of course so many tips and tricks of like how to get there, but it's really just practice. It's really repetition. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you saw that.
I just want to say thank you very much. I enjoyed it. I'm looking at, I had a little teapot, and it is the song, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Mine ended up something like, but
Yeah.
I get the message of practice, practice, practice. So I really enjoyed it, and you know, I will join you anytime you ever come back on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone
Yeah.
have a great night. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, there
So
you go.
who's left? I see, I think Barbara is there, right?
Barbara's here.
Yes.
We're all here. Does anyone else have any questions for Sheherazade? Or comments?
I I like the way that you wound up editing your image to pick the important things, because that's what happened for me.
Yeah.
You know, but in this one, at least visually, it made sense. The other ones, not so much, you know. This is what I wound up with. Can you see that?
Yeah.
If Make it a little bigger on my.
I'll spotlight her. There we go. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's
pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
Great.
sonnet piece. That's
It's
cool.
really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually keep that on my desk, so to speak. I don't know if you-
Exactly.
See if you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see that at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
love.
it's not a real one, but it's a real nice silk one. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes I'm in here with paint and it's like, ooh, put the decent thing in the corner. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what I found. Excuse me, but I found that it edited a lot for me. The exercises, like that was just one of the
Yeah.
exercises, and it doesn't really make any sense except to me, because we know that's the base, and that could be the petals.
Mhm.
So
I mean, see it that looks exactly how it's supposed to look. So
okay,
yeah, you nailed it.
so I'm on the right track here.
Mhm.
There are a
Yeah.
couple classes on this platform that you can do gesture drawings, you know, or figures. I have one tonight for, I think it's 3 hours, and it's all gesture drawing. So,
Yeah.
and where I go, they do like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minute, 10 minute, and
Yeah.
final is 20. And then I'm in another one where we do 6-minute poses. So yeah, it keeps your hand going. I accidentally said to someone, I've lost my hand. They didn't know what it meant. They thought, I was like, no. She goes, that's horrible. I said, no, let me clarify this for you. She said, oh my God. It was kind of funny, you know, but she
That's
said,
how it
"You
goes.
shouldn't say that." But art
Okay.
people know what that means, you know, so.
Yeah.
Because I just came back to drawing. I mean, I was away from it for like 25 years. And,
Oh, wow.
and now I just have made this whole room is my sanctuary in here, or, you know, it's the only thing I need to do is put down the chart on the floor. So, yeah, those really good exercises.
Thank you.
I wasn't grasping when you talked about the grid. At first, I thought you meant find the high point of the image in the grid. You know, yeah, within the, you know, so you're picking high points, and might be triangular, might be whatever. You know, that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah. If this were like slightly different format, I would have had like images for each or in every single thing, or I would have had, you know, following along completely with, but yeah, it worked.
I certainly appreciate the lesson. What's the next one going to be?
Well, there you go. Actually, what are you going to do next, Sheherazade?
So I think because we've done what contour line is, I think the next part that I came back to me was the points. So intercross is how you find the interior shape of whatever it is that you're working with. So it's literally, you're looking for a cross, the highest point, the lowest point, the furthest left, the furthest right, which is also based in gesture drawing. And then you start to carve things out really and truly that way. So yeah, I think that might be the next iteration, where it's just a deepening of what we did today.
Very nice. All
Okay,
right,
that
well,
sounds good.
so we will let you go because it is 11:30 at night where you are.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate it. I think the next month, we'll do this again next month. It's the last Wednesday of the month.
Oh, okay.
Sheherazade will be back in Miami.
Okay. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, she'll be back in Miami. We'll do the class, and you'll get an invitation, and if there's a list of materials, you'll get that in advance. And there will be an email following this with the link to the recording so that you can come back and visit this if you want to.
Great.
So
So
Thank
I
you.
have one
Thank you.
thing, just for everybody that's still here. I won't actually be in Miami yet.
Oh,
So yeah, my yeah, my return date is the 28th. So I needed to discuss that with you as well. So I just want everybody to know it might be a slightly different timing. Honestly, the ideal would be the 20th, which would be the Wednesday, or the 19th, which would be the third Wednesday, because I think I'm going to have to wrap everything up at the end. So
well, we'll figure that out and we will.
yeah, we'll figure it out. I just
We'll figure
don't
it
want to
out and we'll let everyone know.
penning it in.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Great exercises. Thank you.
Yeah, I thank everybody for being here. Do you guys have questions as well, like Camille Lee, Genevieve, and Just?
Thank-
If not, that's
I think you're here just enjoying and participating and I appreciate you being here. So
yeah.
that, I guess that concludes our evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you again. And
Thank you guys. Have
Oh,
a
there
good
you
night.
Camille said thank you. See you there. So thank you for being here. And we, Genevieve, I hope you feel better soon. Thank you for being here. And we hope to see you all again soon. Thank you.
Be
All
well.
right. Good night, guys.